Yeah, so let's talk about Uche, and then we're going to talk about some of those other guys as well.
Okay.
So I didn't know where to put Uche. I put him with the inside linebackers group because I think his base role is probably going to be at inside linebacker, and then he'll probably move on the line of scrimmage as a pass rusher. But I've certainly hyped him up. A lot of people that were out there at minicamp really, really hyped up Josh Uche's minicamp performance. He was borderline unblockable in some of those drills. Now, there was no pads. So we'll see if that really continues into training camp when the pads go on. But his explosiveness off the line of scrimmage and his ability to turn the quarter and really wreak havoc on quarterbacks, he ate every tackle up that they threw his direction. Even Trent Brown had some problems with him, which is saying a lot, right?
Yep.
So he was an absolute force in minicamp. The year 2 leap, how big of a year 2 leap are we really talking about here?
We could be looking at a big one. I think it depends on how they use them. And I was trying to figure out how to put this in actual football terms, and I can't really figure it out. You can probably do better. You're better at the technical phrasing than I am. It almost feels like the defense is going to be a 3-4 with 1 middle linebacker and 3 outside linebackers. Yeah. Right? If that makes sense. Where Uche, like, he might technically be in the middle because Judon and Van Noy are playing outside of him, but it feels like he'll play more like an outside linebacker than a middle linebacker. And if they kind of cut him loose as a pass rusher, yeah, I think you could look at an absolutely massive jump. I really hope they don't rein him in. I hope, you have all these different spots you can play him, and that's great, and that's definitely a part of his value, but I'd like to see them really play to his strengths and see if they can really tap into his ceiling.
Right. So the Patriots, I think, call it something different. The elephant was the Willie McGinnis role. That's Matt Judon, right? He's the strong side outside linebacker. It's called a jack in a lot of systems. I don't remember.
Isn't a jack more like what Adrian Phillips played last year?
Sort of, but the most important.
Or that's Joker.
Yeah, so a jack, Adrian Phillips played more like a money backer role, right? The jack role, what really is, and I think the Patriots also refer to it as a jack or something with a J. And basically,
there's a joker. I can't remember what it is, but there is a joker.
Yes, there is a joker is usually a tight end on the other side of the ball, but there might be a defensive joker too.
No, I know there is. I just can't remember what it is.
Okay, so maybe they call it joker. It's something with a J. And basically what it is, it's a hybrid. It's an outside linebacker / inside linebacker, right? And it's a role where you're going to play a little bit of both, but you're kind of blurring the lines between those two positions. And that, I think, is where Uche is probably going to be. And he's going to be a player to me, and I'm sure he'll have reps where he drops into coverage plenty as well, right? I'm sure he'll probably be somewhere around 150 snaps in coverage if he plays as much as we think he's going to play. But primarily, this is a player that's allowed to attack the line of scrimmage, right? Whether it's against the run or it's as a pass rusher in an interior blitz or even on the edge as an outside linebacker, he is going to get after the football. He's around the football, he's attacking the football, and they've used Van Noy in that role a little bit in the past. They've certainly used Jamie Collins like that in the past. Guys like that, that's probably what we're going to see Uche do for the most part. And I really think that he could have an absolutely huge year 2 leap where we really see it all come together for him. But the one caveat I will give with this, they said the same thing about him at Michigan for 4 years. He was one of those guys at Michigan. He did have some injury issues and he got banged up, and that throughout his career, he was competing for snaps with Winovich and Rashawn Gary and a lot of really good players in that linebacking corps. But every year in spring camp, fall camp, people at Michigan would hype up Josh Uche, and he never really put it all together, right? He had all these flashes, he had all these moments, and then his last year at Michigan, his senior season, he had a pretty productive year. But you do have to base it off of the things that we saw at Michigan, and what the story with him at Michigan was very similar in the setup. So hopefully it goes better, and he really does take that year 2 leap, and he really does progress as a player because he has all the raw ability and talent in the world, right? He's an extremely athletic, physical marvel. But they said the same thing about him at Michigan and in Ann Arbor, and it never really completely came to fruition with him. And he was a player that coming in, he wasn't he's a couple years younger, obviously, than Chase Winovich, but people thought that he was the better player just based off of raw ability from Chase Winovich. But Chase Winovich was the worker, the guy that was consistently out there all the time, and he had better production than Uche. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen with Uche in the pros, but a lot of Michigan fans will tell you we waited for the big leap from Josh Uche for years.